I, female 31, am engaged to my fiance, Caleb, male 34. We're planning on getting married soon, but his young teen son got diagnosed with a medical condition that will require months of treatment, so he'll be receiving treatment next month. Caleb and I chose and agreed on a wedding date. I found out recently that he decided to change it. I was so confused, especially when I heard it from one of his friends. His friend told me about the change. It was humiliating. I asked Caleb about it, and he said it was true he wanted to change the wedding date and gave those reasons. A, because he wants to focus on his son and his recovery and give him enough time to regain his health. B, he wants his son to be at the wedding looking healthy and happy. C, doesn't want his son exposed to a large crowd while recovering, so he thinks the best decision is to put off plans for the wedding till months later. I felt upset and couldn't help but start arguing with him and objecting to his decision. He argued that I'm being selfish and short-sighted, and that I clearly don't care about his son like I say I do. I told him he was being unfair and treating me as if I was happy with these unfortunate circumstances. Although my family and I have been more than supportive, he told me that if what I was saying was true, then I should agree with his decision. I thought that was illogical because now I'll have to go look for other venues and make other arrangements, because wedding reservations need strict timing and planning ahead of time. Then he snapped and said that clearly a wedding's more important to me than my stepson's health. But I disagreed and explained that his son could still attend while he's on treatment, but he was having none of it. We had a fight and he went out. His family thinks he's being reasonable and there's no need to rush. Still, I feel like my opinions and thoughts were stomped on and ignored because he knows I have a specific date in mind that's special to me. And if I agree to postpone, then I won't get that same date unless we wait another year. Am I the idiot for my reaction? Did he present a valid argument? You are the idiot. Yes, he should have talked to you before his friends, but that alone should tell you that you've got communication issues that need work before you decide to commit the rest of your lives together. Aside from the fact you're just blowing past a bunch of reasons involving a sick child, and somehow don't think that's automatically going to brand you as the idiot in most people's eyes, why do you care more about the venue and logistics than the simple fact that he's telling you he's not ready? Do you want a wedding or a successful marriage? Please pay attention to what OP wrote. He wanted to change the date, but he didn't change anything yet. By deciding, she means he's telling people he wants a different date. She's getting angry because she's not getting her way, and her fiance, gasp, cares about his son. That's what bothers me the most. He changed the date without even discussing it first with the bride. Sure, he's worried and stressed out, but I see it as a huge red flag that he did this behind her back. OP, it would be best if you used this extra time to think about your relationship and tell him that the real problem is that he changed the date without telling you or asking for your input. Wanting to change the date was not unreasonable in this situation, but doing it without your knowledge was unacceptable. Everyone's the idiot here. You two have mega communication problems if he's discussing changing the wedding date without discussing it with you, and your reaction is what it was, which could be why he avoided talking to you about it. Avoiding important conversations around major life events, such as marriage and significant illnesses, is a red flag for your life together. A bride ignoring the fiance's son's health for her day? I would change the date to never. OP, you have no business getting married if you can't prioritize a child's health over a date on a calendar and a stupid venue reservation. My fiance, male 37, and I, female 30, started living together 6 months ago. I own a house and he moved in with me. I run an online business from home, allowing me to live comfortably. A month after moving in, he quit his job, saying how much he hated it and that he would try to do Twitch streaming for a living. I'm all for following your passion, so I was supportive, although surprised at the turn of events. I'm in a financial position to support us both, but it felt off. Anyway, nothing happened with his Twitch channel. Sure, he's gaming all day, but hasn't bothered even trying to create an account. He just games for pleasure. It's been 7 months. I've had conversations with him suggesting he finds work, but he keeps telling me that I'm unsupportive and needs time. He wants us to buy a bigger house together, but I said that I was fine with my current one, and that since he didn't have a job, I didn't want to get a mortgage and be left with paying for everything. and he told me that if I found a real job, maybe I wouldn't have financial problems. We had a massive argument that night. Now he's been hinting at needing a new gaming laptop that cost a few grand, and I've been ignoring it, so he asked me to buy it outright for his birthday. I told him no, that my fake job doesn't cover new laptops, and he got really angry at me, telling me I was selfish and was ruining his career. Granted, I can't afford to buy it, but he really hurt me by saying my business is not a real job, despite me working my butt off. Am I the idiot for not buying him a new laptop? OP, you sound intelligent. Is the intimacy that good for all that BS? What's he bring to the relationship other than entitlement and laziness? He's taking advantage of you. He's being a leech. Why do smart women buy this crap? I'll never understand. Pull your weight or get out. I'm not your mother or ATM. I am ruining his career. LMAO, what career? He's not even trying to be a professional gamer. If he doesn't have a streaming account, all he's doing is just gaming. He's a professional slob. In this situation, I'm pretty sure the only intimacy she's getting is a disappointment. Not the idiot, but curious as to why you're referring to him as your fiance and not your ex. It felt off because it is. He showed you exactly who he is. Please believe him and move on. And instead of him worrying about what's in your pockets, he needs to be worrying about the fact that nothing isn't his. A partner makes deposits, not constant withdrawals. Cut the cord. Wow, if I was OP, my eye would be twitching. So he saw you make money with your own business and decided you could be his sugar mama while he followed his dream of being a professional gamer. Yeah, you know what? No. You have a real job. He has no job. And now he's going through some early midlife crisis, trying to be some famous edgy gamer. Sorry, but he sounds like he's 19. He'll be 40 soon. He needs a real job, not you. I, 28 female, got married 4 years ago and chose to keep my last name. My older brother's been married a few years longer than I. We aren't super close, but I always see them at family events. My sister-in-law and I have always gotten along fine. She's super conservative, but she never brings it up. We've never had any sort of issues at all. She's currently pregnant and invited me out to lunch last weekend, which was weird and out of the blue, but I thought maybe since she's pregnant, she wanted to be closer to me for the baby, so I went. Everything was fine. We were making small talk about the baby and how they were preparing. Then she dropped the bomb on me. She asked me to lunch because she wanted me to change my last name to my husband's. She told me since now she's pregnant, the last name will now be her family name, and she would feel uncomfortable with me having it too. I told her this had been my last name my entire life, and I had no plans to change it. I also told her that if I were a man, then it would be my family name too. So what is the difference? I don't even know if we want kids, and if we did have them, I don't know whose last name they would get. She told me it would be different if I were a man, and I needed to grow up, show some respect for my husband, and change it. I just again told her no. We paid and left. When I got home, I reached out to my mom, who thought it was ridiculous, but maybe I should consider it to keep the peace. She texted me yesterday, asking if I had thought about it. I replied that I would not change my last name, and was sorry if that made her uncomfortable. She sent me a ton of texts pretty much just telling me I'm immature and disrespectful. I need to grow up, and I'm disrespecting my marriage and her and my brothers. I don't even think this is a conservative thing. It's just some weird crap she made up in her head. I haven't responded, and I don't plan to, but I feel bad. I've had my last name my entire life. It's part of my identity. I don't want to change it. My husband thinks the entire thing is comical, but I couldn't sleep last night thinking about it. So, am I the idiot? This is so misogynistic. Your sister-in-law doesn't own the name, and it's not less your name because you're a woman. No, you are not the idiot. The idea is archaic and has been falling out of favor for years. I know a bunch of people who never bothered to change their names when they got married, and they're just as happy as can be. And it's ridiculous that they're trying to force this upon you. Your name, your choice. Nobody else can demand you change it and get their way without your cooperation. And what is up with your mom? Change it to keep the peace? That's so ridiculous. It's not your sister-in-law's business what your last name is. Zero. Zip. Nada. It's your family name, not hers. It's only hers by marriage. She had no right to ask that of you. It's utterly ridiculous. Pregnancy hormones are whack for sure, but that's the next level. Hopefully when the baby's born and she has the real actual stuff to worry about, she'll stop trying to control you. Maybe your husband should change his name to yours. It is your family name after all. Update. Thanks for your support. I talked to my brother and he told me I should respect his wife's beliefs. LOL. My mom is a pushover and always has been. She always just wants me to give in to things and keep my mouth shut to keep the peace. I, 35 female, have a tween daughter named Alicia. She just had a birthday this past Thursday, and the party was Saturday. Alicia has a good friend at school named Quinn, who was at the party along with her mom, Liz. The party was at one of those indoor trampolines, bouncy house places. I do not like Liz because she spoils Quinn to the point that she's impossible to discipline, doesn't listen, and is very self-centered. Quinn is so spoiled that she throws tantrums whenever the attention isn't on her. So I was afraid this would be an issue at the party, but Alicia really wanted her there. So Alicia got her cake, and Liz asked me if Quinn could blow out the candles with my daughter because her daughter was about to pitch a fit. Alicia and I both said no, and Quinn started to cry. So everyone ignored her while we ate cake, and we moved on to the gifts. Quinn threw a full-blown tantrum when she saw Alicia opening all her presents from her family and friends. She screamed about wanting one of Alicia's gifts and how it wasn't fair she was getting everything. It was so embarrassing because even people outside of our party room heard. Alicia was getting annoyed, trying to yell her thank yous to the guests for her gifts because some of them barely heard her over Quinn's tantrum. Finally, the kids went to play again. One of the parents suggested it to escape Quinn screaming, and she sat there and pouted instead of playing. After everyone left the room, I told Liz that she needed to take her daughter home because she was making Alicia's party about her meltdowns. I said that Quinn didn't want to be there because the day wasn't about her, so it would make sense to leave. Liz tried to say that she would calm Quinn down, but I wouldn't even let her speak. Finally, I demanded that she leave and went out to watch my daughter play. My husband, he was on his way, he was coming later on, told me that I should have just let Quinn stay instead of causing a scene and adding to the drama because Alicia was having a good time. I don't know. I just don't think Alicia wanted someone throwing tantrums every 2 seconds at her 10th birthday party, even if she didn't say it. That's not ideal for anyone. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If Liz can't control Quinn to the point where Quinn's trying to steal someone else's birthday party, she has no business going to them. She asked you if Quinn could blow out the candles? What in the heck type of entitlement is that? I can see a 5-year-old getting jealous like that, but as a tween, it's just terrible parenting. You did fine asking her to leave. I'm glad you're putting your foot down when Quinn's mom couldn't even do it. That child will be everyone else's problem because her mom can't control her. As a mother of a toddler, I get wanting to just give in to your kid to spare the tantrum because they're just exhausting, but it's my job to teach her how to deal with her feelings. I chose to have this kid. I have to take responsibility for her. I can't stand parents that don't tell their kids no. It's just lazy parenting, to be honest. Maybe Liz will take notes and see what the consequences for actions are and go forward actually parenting her child. Let's hope she learns her lesson, but I doubt she will. She probably rewarded Quinn with ice cream or a cake on the way home. Any update on how Alicia reacted and how she feels about Quinn now? At home, I talked with Alicia and said that behavior was unacceptable, and that's why I asked her friend to leave, but I apologized. She said she understood because she didn't like how Quinn was throwing tantrums either. She still wants to be friends at school, but I think she'll be afraid to invite Quinn to another event. So, a wild situation, but I need a fair judgment. So I, 27 male, have been dating Reagan, 27 female, for 2 years and have been engaged for the past 6 months. When we first started dating, I realized that Reagan didn't have the closest relationship with her parents, especially her mom, but all her siblings seemed to get along. I didn't find out why until later. So the Reagans are part of the lifestyle, aka swingers. Growing up, this was really rough on Reagan. Everybody in their small town knew, and people made fun of her relentlessly. She hated it, but at the same time, there were her parents. When Reagan was a senior, her mom's videos were posted on a website. Boys in her grade found them. It made her life terrible. So she immediately went to a college far away, where we first met, and she really hasn't had a relationship with them. We live 30 minutes from them and see them only at Christmas. Her parents are always reaching out to her, however. So I've been seen as the guy isolating Reagan from the family. So I come from a traditional family, church on Sunday types. Reagan fell in love with this and really attached herself to my mom. They have gotten super close. Reagan always talks about her liking my normal parents. So Reagan decided not to invite her mom and dad to the wedding. She said she was embarrassed by them and doesn't want people to know who her mom is. She asked my dad to walk her down the aisle. Her siblings got angry at this, and she decided to cut them off and not invite them, which caused Reagan's mom to explode. She's called us so many times in the last few months and tried showing up at our place. I've had to tell her to leave every time, as Reagan didn't want to, leading to the image of me isolating Reagan. So this weekend, Reagan was at a bachelorette party. I was at home alone. I hear someone at my door. I see it's Reagan's mom, and she looked emotional. I spoke through the door and told her Reagan wasn't home and she needed to leave. She kept knocking and saying, "I know she's in there. I just want to talk." I said she wasn't home and that she needed to leave. Well, she walked to her car parked in the driveway and made a phone call. At this point, my neighbor texted me and asked if everything was okay, as he heard yelling. Reagan's mom came back to the door and kept pounding on it, saying she wanted to talk to her daughter. I told her she had 1 minute to leave the property. She didn't, so I called the cops. She was arrested for trespassing. Reagan came back and I told her what had happened. She was upset, but understood when I showed her my neighbor's text and doorbell footage. Reagan's siblings are angry, however, and so is her dad. So I can't help but feel like I did go too far. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Her parents are certainly free to be swingers, but it was very selfish not to think about how their lifestyle choices impacted their children. Reagan is an adult and has decided not to have them involved in her life. Her mother was warned but ignored it. You're free to choose, but choices have consequences. But look at it from their perspective. I would think the same thing if my daughter cut me off. Reagan needs to explain her feelings to them and why they aren't welcome in her life. Reagan also likely needs therapy. As a woman with equally crazy parents, you can tell them the whys for cutting them off until you're blue in the face, but they'll never believe it. They will always choose to believe that someone else or something else is to blame. Taking responsibility for their actions is not in their wheelhouse. Your girlfriend has every right not to want to be around her parents. I can't imagine how awkward and uncomfortable she felt when she was around them. And you have every right to call the cops on her mom. She was trespassing, apparently causing a scene, was warned that the police would be coming, and she still stuck around until the police arrived. You are not the idiot. You're never the idiot for protecting yourself and your girlfriend.